Why are you guys doing that? Don't worry, Mega Man did out. Listen.
I was never book smart, I'm money smart, makes me more intelligent. Call me Mr. Rock Festival, I got hella bands. Shorty cute, and a circle too. Told her get a friend, she gon' make me slide. With my dog light, I'm Mega Man.
Well, it's time to do the RGG games tier list, and I've been delaying it for a while now, so I just wanted to finally do it. And I mean, yeah, my opinion is the only thing that matters, so let's get into it. Starting off with Yakuza 1, the original, I put that in C tier because I literally just played it recently, like about a month ago, and I thought it was serviceable. It definitely has its charm along with the English dub, which I genuinely thought that was so bad that it was good because it was so funny. But yeah, overall I think it's a standard C tier, especially with the replay. Kiwami I would put in, originally I would put in A or B because of the story, but like playing it through Yakuza 1 made me realize how underwhelming the story is actually, and it's not that good. It's just carried by Yakuza 0 and what happens afterwards with the whole Nishiki stuff, and yeah, I think it's very mediocre and barely serviceable. Then actually we have Yakuza 2, which I would put into B tier, and it improves on a lot of the good stuff that the original Yakuza had, and primarily does make the combat a little bit more enjoyable and fun, because even though it's not that great, Yakuza 1's combat was serviceable, and you can really see the evolution that they went through from Yakuza 1 all the way to LJ, and you can really see the Dragon of Dojima style attacks, and it brings me back basically. As for Yakuza 2, I think the story got improved during this replay basically, which I consider as a replay instead of Kiwami 2, and it made me appreciate Ryuji more, along with just in general the story I thought was a bit better compared to 1. It's just a shame that it gets ruined at the end because of all the dumbass plot twists that didn't need to happen. Everyone's Korean, everyone's betraying everyone. Oh wow, I had this planned out the entire time. Oh wait, no, trust me, I was actually a good guy all along. It's so dumb. But whatever, I think besides that stumble, I think Yakuza 2 has an incredible, well, not incredible, definitely not incredible, a good story. It's just really lowered by the ending with how fucking bad it is. Then we have Yakuza 3. Yakuza 3 Remastered I would put at the top of B tier. I need to do a replay because it's been 3 years since I played the RGG games besides 0, 1, and 2, and Judgment and Lost Judgment. So 3 through 6 I have to replay, but like at the time when I played it, it was good enough. It was overhated, it had a great story, but the combat was definitely very clunky to begin with. Especially going from 0, Kiwami 1, Kiwami 2, and then on to 3, it's very noticeable, but it's not the end of the world, honestly. Story is great, villain is great, and the OST is really fucking good. So, I think with mods it could probably reach A tier, because I know modders will fix that. I mean, I saw that they fixed that, so we'll see. We'll see when the replay comes around. Then we have Kenzan. I haven't played because I can't get Dead Souls to run, but Kenzan actually isn't localized, and I don't really want to do that. I'll give it some time, and hopefully by that point we either get a fan translation or, you know, a localization. So along with that, I might as well put the others. Kuroyo 1 and 2, Streets of Kamurocho, Fist of the North Star, and Dead Souls. These I haven't played yet. Realistically, Fist of the North Star will happen soon, and 1 and 2 Kuroyo will probably also happen, but not anytime soon. That being said, oh yeah, actually, in RGG Online, I don't give a shit about that. So, onwards onto Yakuza 4. I really fucking love Yakuza 4. Everything about the game is great. I think the story is overhated. And the only issues I have with it is just how Kiryu just shows up at the end for, honestly, just so that they have Kiryu in the game. That's what I think. Because I think Akiyama, Saejima, and Tanimura all have great involvement, and then Kiryu just shows up at the end. Which is fine, but like, yeah, it's a fumble for me. But overall, I think Yakuza 4 is way better than Yakuza 5, and I think people overhate it. The rubber bullets are just not that big of a deal, and I actually like them.
What?
No, no, alright. I know that sounds bad.
And it also contains some of my favorite fighting styles, like Akiyama's and kinda Tanimura's, but Tanimura's evolved into Snake style from LJ, which I actually really like. So, yeah. And Saejima is just way too slow, for me at least. And yeah, Yakuza 5 I would put right at the top of B tier, or maybe, just maybe at the absolute bottom of A tier. Because like, it has some very, very annoying stuff, like Saejima's hunting section, and the story being actually bad at times, compared to 4. Like, the best part of Yakuza 5 was Shinada. Shinada alone would carry it into S tier, but like, I gotta be objective. Akiyama and Haruka's part were great for me, Kiryu's part was great for me, Shinada was the highlight and, yeah, the GOAT. Saejima just has the dumb hunting section, which is just disgusting, and his story is just not particularly great, but I do like the gameplay that he has. It's improved on, but it doesn't save the game. I think it has some very low lows and like decent highs. And then we have Yakuza 6. Yakuza 6 I would put into A tier because I genuinely think it's overhated. And the only issue I have with Yakuza 6 is Haruka. How they butchered Haruka's character from 0 through 5. She went from an actually great, rare good child character to whatever the hell she pulled here. So besides that, I genuinely think Yakuza 6 is overhated. It has a great story, it has a great cast. It does have a shitty villain, Kiwami and the old guy, but like, it also contains Someya and the Hirose family and one of the best soundtracks. Like, it does a lot of good stuff, and I genuinely think it's overhated. The only issue is, like I said, Haruka and the combat being, well, the first Dragon Engine game. So, it's a little bit iffy when it comes to that, but overall I genuinely think Yakuza 6 is great. And then we have Yakuza Kiwami 1 and 2 that I forgot about, so we'll put Kiwami 1 into B tier because actually in between 3 and 5. Because again, the story I would originally put, if it was like 2 years ago, I would put it into A tier, but like, yeah, I think it's good enough. It's a B tier. Plus, it does have some Zero flashbacks, which allows you to have a little bit more info about what happened with Nishiki and why, and the entire context of Zero, but again, it really doesn't matter because the story is just barely good enough for me, and yeah, at least the combat is, I think, pretty fucking good, despite a few iffy things about it. Then we have Kiwami 2, which would go right above 2 and 3, but below Kiwami and 5, because I mean, it was the second Dragon Engine game. It's the first Dragon Engine game you play, but like, it's rough. When you go from Zero and Kiwami onto Kiwami 2, it's really fucking rough, and the game really does not play as good as 1 and 0. But besides that, I think the story is, like I said, I appreciate it more. I appreciate Ryuji more, and I really like Sayama and a lot of the other characters. Really, Kiwami 2 is, yeah, good, better than 2, the original 2, but like, it has flaws. And then we got 0, which, I mean, 0 is 0, so it's easily S tier, because still to this day it holds up, and from 0 through 6 it was easily the best Yakuza game, and it only got changed when 7 rolled around and the other new ones. It has the best, well, top 3 best stories, it has the best combat, it has an incredible soundtrack, probably top 3, like, so many good things about it, so, but it's not perfect, because the stuff that's really shitty is just the sum of the mini games, and honestly, some of the Makoto sections, and naturally the car chase, which is, yeah. But besides that, I think it still holds up. The issue is that, well, the main reason why it's so good is that Majima's story carries it. Kiryu's story is great, but Majima is just a whole different league. Like, objectively, Kiryu's story is A tier, and Majima's is S tier, so yeah. And then we got Judgment, and originally I would put it in S tier, but I just did the replay like about a week ago on 60 FPS, 60 plus FPS on PC and not PS4, Lamau. But I think it dropped down to A tier because I didn't realize just how many mandatory side cases and mandatory tailing missions there are. It really fucking ruins it. Like, I'm not gonna lie, there's like 10 tailing missions that are mandatory in the whole main story, compared to Lost Judgment only having like 1. It really fucks up the pace, but besides that, I think Judgment is incredible. It has top 4 stories, it has great combat. Like, when you're going uphill from 6 and Kiwami 2, then you really notice how good Judgment's combat is. And they're like, okay, yeah, Dragon Engine goes kinda hard. But the issue is that I was just recently doing a Lost Judgment replay with the whole Majima mod, but going from LJ to Judgment was really rough, especially at the start. But that just proves how perfect LJ's combat is. Spoiler alert. This combat is still fucking great, especially with upgrades later on, but good lord. The night and day difference. And then we got Yakuza 7, which, I mean, it's turn-based, so I would put that into probably above 4, but it would easily be S tier if it wasn't turn-based, which, again, I really don't mind the turn-based change, but it does not fit. It does not fit the series. I'm not gonna give up on it. I am having fun with it, especially in Infinite Wealth. And I do like turn-based games a lot, like Persona and Mega 10, but good lord. It could have had way better potential as a brawler, but besides that, I think people who skip on it are just so fucking dumb, and they're missing out on top 3 stories. Because the story, the characters, everything is just so fucking good. The side content, like, goddamn, it's incredible. And then we have Lost Judgment, which is easily peak. Like, I am biased with LJ, it's just such an incredible game. It's honestly my absolute favorite game of all time, or at least second. But yeah, the story is incredible. Kuwana is just the best antagonist out of any game, in my honest opinion, or in my subjective opinion. Soma is a great villain, like an evil villain, and even though Kuroiwa is unhinged, crazy, Soma is a bit more tactical and evil, which I actually prefer over Kuroiwa, but it's also nice to have pure unhinged villains like Kuroiwa, and I really want more of them, but like, bro, I really also appreciate the evil ones.
They're better.
Why?
They just are.
Yeah, but why?
many reasons.
The combat is the best in the series, easily. It has 4 styles, 3 of which are incredibly fucking great, and Boxer, which is good enough. But yeah, like every single style gets improved on, especially in Judgment 1, where Crane was just so underwhelming compared to Tiger. But in LJ, every single style is incredible and probably broken at times, especially Snake, in my honest opinion. But yeah, every single style is fun, and the story is incredible. The soundtrack is one of the best. The characters are incredible. I don't know, man. LJ is just, in my honest opinion, peak fiction. Like, I don't think it's gonna get dethroned anytime soon for me, but I hope it proves me wrong, basically.
Scream if you love Lost Judgment.
And then we got Ishin, which, I mean, top of B tier, because actually, yeah, no, top of B tier, better than 5. It's just the issue is that the game story is good enough, the characters are fine, the OST is pretty good. I mean, it's an RGG OST, it's fucking incredible. It's just the issue lies in it being extremely forgettable and there being way too much grinding, so yeah. I'm glad they made it, but I genuinely don't think it was that great. It just, I appreciate that we at least have an option instead of it being forgotten. Like, I do not think that I will be playing Ishin or any of the others if they won't get localized. So I would rather have the option of actually playing it and experiencing it than never fucking know it. Because I really want to play Kenzan, but yeah, I'm not doing that shit on Google Translate. So yeah. Then we got Gaiden, which, I mean, S tier easily. The only issues with it I have are the pacing and the lack of New Game Plus. If the game had New Game Plus, I would beat it like 10 times by now, but I only beat it twice. Or actually, no, 1.5 times, but then the game bugged and I was like, okay, whatever. Because I was using Drino's New Game Plus mod, so yeah. Modders doing it on their own, which is fucking sad that Sega didn't make a New Game Plus for this, but whatever. The game is incredible. Shishido is one of the best villains, easily top 3. In my opinion, number 2. The OST is great. I think the game is good enough lengthwise, though it could have had a little bit more, maybe like 1 or 2 more chapters. But besides that, it's an incredible game for Kiryu's last solo game, which, yeah, I hate Vit's video on it. And finally, we have Infinite Wealth. Oh boy, Infinite Wealth has some of the highest highs in the series, but some of the very low lows. And I really don't know what to say about it. Like, gameplay wise, it would unironically be into S tier because of how much better it is compared to 7's turn-based combat, but god damn is the story just so, it wants to do so many things, and it's really just carried by Yamai and Kiryu's story. Ichiban just gets completely watered down in 8 compared to 7, where in 8 he's just happy-go-lucky, but in 7 he's like actually, he has great moments in which he just completely loses the happiness and just, yeah, goes a little bit insano. Just completely loses all the optimism, and you know, you can really see it. But in 8 he's just like, no, he'll definitely become good. He must be. I'm the protagonist. So yeah, like, he sees some comically evil people and then he was like, I can fix them, which, I mean, sure, I guess it's Ichiban, but goddamn, I just did not like him compared to 7 that much, at least. But yeah, I would probably put this at the top of B tier or low A tier. Extremely low, like in between A and B. But yeah, I think Ebina was good enough as a villain and as a final boss. I just think he's better as a concept villain and not as a character villain. I think he needed way more development, and Bryce was just comical evil, which I just did not really enjoy. Plus his voice actor was so fucking bad, oh my god. Besides that, I think Infinite Wealth was great, it's just... the issues completely fuck it over, so yeah. The new cast additions were incredible, I loved every single one of them. And like I said, the main reason why I've been putting the game into A tier is Yamai. So, if we don't see more Yamai in 9, I'm just gonna riot. But besides that, that's really it. Honest opinion, objective opinion, say whatever you want to say. Well, that's about it. See ya. Play Lost Judgment.